a rising star in the Republican Party.
And now South Dakota Senator John Thune says he's just weeks away from deciding whether to run for president. Back in September, Thune said that he was considering to run for the Republican nomination. And in tonight's Eye on Keloland, Ben Dunsmore sits down with Thune and his wife to talk about his political career and possible presidential run.
When South Dakota Senator John Thune shows up at basketball games during his weekends away from Washington, it doesn't take long to get recognized.
How you doing, John? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Whether it's shaking hands and talking about politics with fans.
That's why I keep telling people we send $1 billion a day overseas for foreign oil. And we've got to get energy independent. And, you know, we talk about it, but we just continue to not take the steps that are necessary to get it done.
Or doing a radio interview at halftime.
I don't sometimes think people realize how serious our fiscal situation is in Washington. If we don't get it turned around, it has a lot of implications.
Thune is always at work talking with people he represents.
I do think it's important that you never lose the common touch. I think it's important that, you know, staying in touch is so important to the job that you do, and it makes you a better representative.
But the reason he's in this position today goes back to his freshman year of high school basketball in 1976. That's when South Dakota Congressman Jim Abner saw Thune playing in a tournament in Thune's hometown of Murdo. Thune made 5 of 6 free throws that night and ran into Abner the next day.
I turn around and he says, "I noticed you missed one last night." And I'm like, you know, who's this smart aleck? I'm a freshman. I made 5 out of 6. And he introduced himself as Congressman Jim Abner. He was in town for the championship games that night.
Thune credits that moment for piquing his interest in politics. He started to follow Abner's political career, and after he received his master's degree at the University of South Dakota, he and his wife Kimberly moved to Washington, where he spent 4.5 years working for Abner.
We sort of looked at it as, we'll do this for a couple years, it'll be great, you know, it's a big city, you get away from home for a little while, experience something else, and never anticipated certainly staying, for that matter, or by any stretch entering that field.
But Thune decided he wanted to be a congressman and was elected in 1996 as South Dakota's lone U.S. House representative. He served 3 terms before he ran for the Senate in 2002 and lost to Senator Tim Johnson in a race so close that Thune could have requested a recount. But 2 years later, Thune scored his biggest political victory when he defeated 26-year congressional veteran and Senate Minority Leader Tom Daschle.
You know, my world kind of began and ended at the city limits of Murdo, and having the opportunity to serve in the United States Senate and having won a big campaign, it was an incredible feeling, something for which we'll always be grateful.
From there, Thune moved up the Republican ranks quickly. He's now the chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee, the 4th-ranking Republican position in the Senate. He's become so popular and powerful that no Democrat challenged his re-election this past November. Now he and his family are considering a run for president.
I've never harbored any ambitions about running for national office. It's not something that I've aspired to, but I started to get encouragement from some of my colleagues in the Senate, from people here in South Dakota, people elsewhere around the country, and so we decided to take a look at it.
You look at it and think, you know, is this something that I could do, that we could do as a family, and would we bring something to the ticket? And then you evaluate that.
Senator Thune and his wife have been doing just that for the past several months. Kimberly and his 2 daughters are his top advisors.
The best, purest advice I get is from Kimberly and from the girls. You know, and again, there's no hidden agenda, there's no ulterior motive. It's just, you know, straight on.
I feel 100% that I have been part of it from the very beginning, and I will be to the very end.
Thune hasn't made any decision yet, but he says he will before the end of the month.
They're playing well.
And whether it's here at the basketball court or with his family, Thune says he always relies on his experiences back home in South Dakota when he's making a major decision like this.
I have no delusions that I have all the right answers for the country. I know there are people out there who are a lot smarter than I am, but I do think that the country is in need of some Midwestern common sense.
And if he wants to become the one to bring that common sense to the country, a campaign would cost millions of dollars. While he already has $7 million in campaign funds left over from his re-election, Thune says that's a fraction of what he'd need to win the Republican nomination.
If you just start talking about Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, most of the experts say it's 20 to or 30 to 40 million dollars. Well, I frankly, we could raise maybe the first million, or maybe even if we're lucky, 2 in South Dakota. It's a long ways to go to get the rest of it.
But Thune will continue to contemplate the decision with his wife.
And I will feel very confident and comfortable when that time comes that we make that decision, that it was the right decision because of that time that we put into it.
I see you on TV a lot, and kind of some interesting things going on.
Well, these are interesting times. We've got our work cut out for us.
And South Dakotans and the rest of the country will soon find out whether that work includes a run for president. With Eye on Keloland, I'm Ben Dunsmore.
Thune says he wants to make a decision soon because other Republican candidates are already starting to position themselves to run for president.